Hey, welcome back everyone, and a warm hidey-ho to y'all. Today we are going to check out this sophisticated cutting machine. This is the WinterBlade Mirage. Aww! Now how did they do that? The WinterBlade Mirage has an M390 blade with titanium outer scales, G10 insets, and it's driven on this semi-assisted magnetic lock. I promise you that this knife feels like absolutely nothing else to handle in your hand. It weighs in at 3.53 ounces with a total length of 7 inches, blade length of 3 inches, and your cutting edge is going to get you about 2 3/4 inches. For some size comparisons, here it is next to a Spyderco Paramilitary 2 and Paramilitary 3, a Civivi Elementum and a Boker Kalashnikov, a Demko AD 20.5 and a Chris Reeves large Sabenza 31, and an outdated Fad and a premium Ticonderoga No. 2 pencil. Now, so far you are a stranger to WinterBlade Co., I highly recommend that you follow WinterBlade Co. on Instagram, because in my opinion, WinterBlade Co. is the most innovative knife maker in the game right now. His first full-scale production line was this Factor, which boasts the M-Lock, which is a magnetic lock that gives this satisfying ting and has this lever to push it out, that has been a favorite among knife enthusiasts. So what's going on here in this Mirage is that when you depress this lever, there is a magnet right here in the blade tang that is reversed in polarity to the magnet on the slide. So it has this little assisted effect. But then, because you're just dealing with a magnetic detent and not a spring, it's really easy, if you just pull the lever closed, to just flick it back into place. Of course, this knife opens with a reverse flick really well, and action-wise, this thing is incredibly smooth and it really behaves like nothing else. I'm a massive fan of the Factor, but this is one of the few knives that I have this degree of love for that I carry very little. Part of it is because this is a batch 1 Factor, and I feel like there's going to become a day where this is super collectible, so I want to keep it nice. But also, I just haven't found it to be the most practical EDC knife in my collection. However, where it lacks some of the coolness of the Factor, I think the Mirage is actually a more practical EDC knife. For one thing, with the way that this backspacer integrates with the lock, the locking mechanism is incredibly strong. Just because it's a magnet holding it in place there, it doesn't take away the fact that this is a stainless steel backspacer that's reinforcing sort of a bar lock style. I'm not super into trying to break stuff on purpose, but I could imagine that you could clamp this sucker down on a vise and hang quite a bit of weight off of the knife blade, and it would take a lot of abuse before this locking mechanism failed. Neither the Factor or the Mirage are incredibly comfortable in the hand, but I think carrying this would really come down to if you're going to be making enough cuts in your day-to-day that you're worried about hot spots in your hand or developing blisters from a full day of carving, this truly just probably isn't the right knife for that job. There's a lot of things that are more comfortable in the hand. That being said, I definitely don't find it obnoxious to carry and to hold, and there's other things that make it fun enough that this has found its way into my rotation. The looks of this blade definitely don't reach out and grab me quite the way that the Factor blade shape does. However, I've found it to be incredibly practical and useful in making cuts. I've had some viewers complain about the M390 heat treat used here, and honestly, I've had no complaints. Both of these have held an edge pretty well. I've made a lot more cuts with this Mirage, and it still qualifies as what I would call pretty sharp. The pocket clip on this knife looks like it's going to be clunky, but it really does a pretty good job of going in and out of the pocket without issues, and it's very secure. I don't feel like this one's going to get caught on anything when you're walking by. The biggest limiter right now to WinterBlade Co. designs is availability and price. WinterBlade Co. is a small knife company that spends a ton of time and work in research and development and making new knife designs and prototypes, and to my knowledge, there have only been 2 models that have actually hit the full production line in the Factor and the Mirage, which I'm super proud to be an owner of a batch 1 of both of these. I don't know when these are going to come available and exactly what price point they will be offered at. I'm sure you can pay way too much money on the secondary market if you look hard. I can't recall exactly what I paid for the pre-order on the Mirage, but I'm pretty sure it was circling the drain of $400. There's a lot about this knife to love. There's a lot that makes it different than anything else out there and anything I have handled. There is a time and a place for your practical practical, hard use, affordable knife. But in my book, there's also a place for the fancy schmancy swanky stuff that the largest purpose it serves is that it's really, really cool. So I would say if you are a knife collector and a knife enthusiast and you're not paying attention to what WinterBlade Co. is doing here, I'd highly recommend getting in on the fun, even if it lowers my chances of snagging whatever comes next from Brian Winters. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you let love and light fill your life. Stay sharp out there, friends, and I will see you all on the next one.